They say betrayal has a sound. For me, it wasn't a scream or a gunshot. It was the sound of bubbles popping and my sister's distinct melodic giggle echoing against the porcelain tiles of my own master bathroom. I stood in my hallway, grocery bags cutting into my palms, smelling the lavender-scented candles I had bought to surprise my husband. But the surprise was on me. My husband wasn't alone. He was in our bathtub with the one person I trusted most in this world. In that moment, the woman I was died. And the woman who was about to systematically dismantle both of their lives was born. If you've ever been stabbed in the back by the people who were supposed to protect you, hit that like button and subscribe. Today's story isn't just about heartbreak. It's about the cold, calculated precision of a woman who had nothing left to lose. Let's get into it. My name is Veronica. I'm 29, and until 4 months ago, I believed I was living the perfect life. My husband, Mark, was a successful architect. My sister, Chloe, was my best friend. We did everything together. Double dates with her husband, Daniel, Sunday brunches with our parents. We were the golden family. It was a Tuesday. A boring, grey Tuesday. I'd finished my meetings early and decided to head home to surprise Mark. I remember the drive, the way the sunlight hit the dashboard, the radio playing some mindless pop song. I felt happy, safe. When I pulled into the driveway, I saw Chloe's car. I didn't think twice about it. We had spare keys to each other's places. I figured she'd dropped by to vent about work. But when I stepped inside, the house felt heavy. You know that feeling when the air feels thick, like a storm is about to break? The silence wasn't peaceful. It was guilty. I walked toward the bedroom, my footsteps muffled by the carpet. And then I heard it. Steam was curling out from under the bathroom door like a ghost. I pushed it open, just an inch. Mark was leaning back, his eyes closed, a glass of wine in his hand. And there was Chloe, my sister. Her back was to me, her head resting on his chest. They looked comfortable. They looked like a couple. My brain tried to protect me. It told me I was hallucinating. Maybe she's just helping him with something. But then he leaned down and kissed the top of her head. I wish we didn't have to hide, she whispered. The grocery bags slipped from my hands. A jar of pasta sauce shattered on the floor, a bright, bloody red smear against the white tile. They both bolted upright. The splashing water sounded like a car crash in the silence. Mark's face went from relaxed to ghostly white in 3 seconds. Chloe scrambled to grab a towel, her eyes wide, darting around like a trapped animal. I didn't scream. I didn't throw the broken glass. I just stood there. My heart felt like it was being squeezed by a cold hand. All those memories, the Christmas dinners where they sat next to each other, the work trips Mark took where Chloe happened to be busy too, they all shifted. They turned from sweet memories into poisonous evidence. Veronica, wait. Mark started, his voice cracking. I didn't wait. I backed out of the room. I felt a strange, icy calm settle over my bones. It was a predatory kind of stillness. I walked to the living room, sat on the sofa, and picked up my phone. My hands were shaking, but my mind was a laser. I called Daniel, my brother-in-law. Daniel, I said. My voice sounded like it belonged to a stranger. You need to get to my house. Now. Is everything okay? He asked, sounding concerned. Just get here. And Daniel. Bring my parents. They're at your place for dinner, right? Bring them too. The gathering of the witnesses, 6 to 9 o'clock. Narrator. For the next 15 minutes, the house was a theater of the absurd. I heard them in the bathroom. Frantic whispers, the sound of zippers, Chloe sobbing quietly. They were trying to fix it. As if you can fix a house after you've set the foundation on fire. Mark came out first, wearing a bathrobe, looking like a pathetic shell of a man. Chloe followed, hiding behind him, her makeup smeared. They tried to talk. They tried to explain. It's not what it looks like, Chloe whimpered. Then what does it look like, Chloe? I asked, looking at her. Does it look like my sister is sleeping with my husband in the house I paid for? The knock on the door was like a gavel hitting a sounding block. I opened the door to see Daniel, looking confused, and my parents, looking worried. They stepped into the foyer, and the air immediately left the room. The look on Daniel's face when he saw his wife standing there in a towel, in my house, next to my husband. It was the most heartbreaking thing I've ever seen. It was the sound of a man's soul breaking. My father's jaw dropped. My mother's hand went to her heart. "What is going on?" my father demanded, his voice low and dangerous. The mistake defense didn't last long. Under the weight of my father's stare and Daniel's silent tears, Chloe cracked. "It's been going on for months," she blurted out, thinking somehow that honesty would save her. "We tried to stop, but we fell in love." The word love felt like a physical blow. Months. While I was supporting Mark through his stressful projects. While I was taking Chloe out for her birthday. They were laughing at me behind my back. Daniel didn't yell. He didn't even look at Mark. He just took off his wedding ring, placed it on my coffee table, and walked out of the front door without a single word. That silence was louder than any explosion. My mother started to cry, a hollow, mourning sound. My father looked at Mark and said, "If you are in this house in 10 minutes, I cannot guarantee your safety." Mark tried to grab his keys. I stood in his way. "The car is in my name," I said. "The house is in my name. The accounts are frozen. You have 10 minutes to take what you can carry in a trash bag." He looked at me, pleading. "Veronica, please, we can talk about this." "There is no we," I replied. "There is the woman you betrayed, and the man who is about to be homeless. Choose your next words carefully." Chloe tried to come to me, reaching out her hand. "Roni, please, you're my sister." I stepped back. The look of pure disgust I gave her made her flinch. "I don't have a sister. My sister died the moment she stepped into that tub." I watched them leave. Mark in a pair of mismatched sweats, carrying a plastic bag of clothes. Chloe following him, crying into her hands, realizing that she hadn't just one Mark. She had lost her entire support system, her husband, her parents, and her dignity. That night, I sat in the silence of my home. It was empty, but for the first time in months, it was clean. The lies were gone. People ask me if I regret calling everyone over. If I regret the public humiliation. I don't. Because betrayal thrives in the dark. I chose to turn on the lights. Mark and Chloe are together now, living in a cramped apartment, hated by both our families. Turns out, love is a lot harder when you have no money and nobody speaks to you. As for me, I'm rebuilding. And I've learned that the most powerful thing you can do when someone shatters your world is to pick up the pieces and build something they're no longer invited to. If this story gave you chills, or if you think Veronica did the right thing by calling in the witnesses, let me know in the comments. Would you have stayed calm, or would you have lost it? Smash that like button, and make sure to subscribe for more stories of justice and survival. Remember, the truth always comes out. Usually when you're least expecting it. See you in the next one.